next up, this is the exciting bit. I've got a resident blueprinter, but also blueprinter / inner circler, but also a incredible student. So Dr. Alexander Joannou. So hopefully I've actually pronounced your surname correctly. So let me just put on Alexander and see. And I'm gonna see if I can put.
G'day.
Oh, hi Alexander. How are you?
Good. Can't see a button for the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can put you as a host on a panel. So let me just see. Okay, Alexander, can you see the button now? Can I just check? Did everybody?
It's working.
Did everybody hear Alexander just then?
Hopefully.
Oh, can hear and see. Okay, so can everybody see Alexander on screen as well? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Hey, what I might do, I'm gonna stop sharing screen, and I want to see. Oh, Alexander, I can see you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this side over to your side. Can everybody still see me and also Alexander on screen now? No, I only see whoever's talking. Okay, got it. So Alexander, can you say a few things? And then that way we'll make sure that the thing is happening.
Yes, my name's Alexander Joannou.
Okay. Okay, quick one. Did everybody just see Alexander on screen? Okay, awesome. So it does switch on speaker.
Okay.
Good to know. Okay, so want to just bring up the questions? Okay. Firstly, Alexander, thank you for doing this. Love your enthusiasm for the course so far and what you're doing, and also thank you for being on screen and sharing your experience. So yeah, so definitely, firstly, thank you.
No worries.
So I've got a few questions. Obviously, love to know where you're from and what is it you do for a living.
Well, I live in Coffs Harbour, about halfway between Sydney and Brisbane.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, home of the big banana.
I think that actually describes it very well, because most people who've gone, that road trip, always the big banana.
That's right. We live only about a kilometre away.
Awesome. And if I was to go back in time, I'd love to go back in time and just see, ask you that important question. When you grew up, what was your relationship with finance as well as investing as well?
I learned how to spend money.
Okay.
But wasn't very good on saving. My dad, when I was a kid, my dad did get into some trading, but on purely speculative stocks like uranium and oil and things like that.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Right.
And so I didn't actually start investing or trading until 2003. When I got involved in a local trading group using a program called Pro Trader, which is Australian software. I guess the philosophy of that is that group is purely based on technicals, no fundamentals.
Yep. And what got you into the that investment group or investing game in the first place, or trading game in the first place?
Well, I was taking stock of my life, and I didn't like the way my super fund money was being handled by big companies. I felt like I wanted more control. Okay.
So since you've been doing it since 2003, obviously this was way before Blueprint itself.
Yes.
What was that experience like, and what type of frustration did you go through?
Yeah, not very good actually. The person who was leading the group often, he was always talking about the big wins, never about the losses. And that was one of the things that attracted me about your system, is that you were quite open about it, about what you're buying, what you're selling, what percentage you make or you lose, and so on. So that was quite transparent. Whereas the other people, I didn't find it very transparent. And the rules kept changing every week. If something didn't work, okay, let's change the rules.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. And was that based on, when you say the rules, were they based on fundamental or technical or macro? What was it?
Technicals. Kept using different indicators to indicate when to buy or sell. And then it became quite confusing
Okay.
for me, at least.
Right. And when you were buying the stock, did you actually physically know what you were buying, or was it really in the end just a stock code to you?
No, I got involved in reading the company reports and things like that, and which for me is I've discovered my difficulty since 2003 has been selling stocks. I can buy very easily, but especially with reading all the company reports and so on, believing the hype. I found it very hard to actually let them go.
Right.
Which cost me, well, the biggest loss was 100% of $10,000.
Right. Okay.
So that's hard to recover from that.
Yeah. And overall, in terms of at that time, what I guess dollar size was that portfolio, and in terms of the loss overall, what did you actually go through?
Well, it was about $50,000, and I did. I got virtually all of it back, but it was just like 15 odd years of frustration.
Okay.
I mean, I did have some big wins, which were really big.
Yeah.
But overall, the losses more than made up for the wins.
Okay.
So I felt like I was treading water.
Yep. And since then, I guess what's the? By the way, Alexander, how long have you been with the Freedom Trader Blueprint now? As of
during the middle of the pandemic last year.
Okay, so
at the beginning of it.
Yeah, just roughly about a year.
Yes, I heard you speaking on a webinar with David Dugan.
Ah, okay.
With Abundance Global.
Yes. Yep. That's awesome. And since then, though, love to know the difference between what you saw with the Pro Trader Group back, all those years ago, and versus this now. What's the fundamental difference that you're seeing while you invest in trade?
Yeah, where there's strictly defined rules, when to buy and when to sell, as well as the rules about which stocks to pick. So that's it takes all the angst out of selling, particularly.
Yeah.
I mean, used to have a few sleepless nights, wondering whether to sell or not. And sometimes even when there were gains and I sold at a gain, then I would look later and find out if I'd held on, I would have gained more and so on.
Right.
So whereas with these rules, it's just, okay, the decision's made. You look at the stock, glance at the indicators, make a decision. It's without, it takes the emotional component out of it.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is more of that sort of black or white. There's no grayish area where you sort of the undecisive procrastination period. Would that be right?
That's correct, yeah. And also I think the fact that you're taking a larger number of small positions is, I find it really helpful. So you haven't got everything riding on, a handful of stocks.
Yep. Yeah, that diversified approach, I think, gives a lot of people much better sleep at night, knowing that they're quite widespread and any one company won't massively, even no matter how bad it does, it's not going to massively affect that overall portfolio itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So and being about a year now, when you started, what was it like when you started?
Well, there was virtually no trading initially because of the pandemic, and the VIX was through the roof and so on.
Right.
And I guess it took me longer than I thought to actually go through all your modules. But I was pretty consistent at going through them step by step. But it took me longer than I thought with the amount of time I have or don't have.
Okay. And any particular, as you went through the program and obviously taking the action along the way now, it's been a year. So any particular, I guess, aha moments along the way while you're physically learning, but also taking action as well?
Well, the aha moment, I suppose, came from signing up to the fast track.
Right.
Because I've been fascinating about actually opening the accounts I was trying to get out of the Australian stocks I had left over from years. And And with the pandemic, there was the fear aspect.
Yeah.
So I thought I didn't want to put my money in and then end up immediately losing it. So I tended to hold back. But once I got involved with Tricia Butler, within 4 weeks, I was up and running. So that was about last September.
Oh, nice. Tricia, by the way, Alexandra is actually on the line, so she's totally she's actually hearing us. so Tricia, awesome job.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great to know. And now that everything's sort of set up, how much time do you actually spend on managing this portfolio of yours?
Well, most average is about an hour a day, I guess. But some days it's as little as 20 minutes. Especially about a month ago, there was only half a dozen stocks left before this latest pullback. But even with the pullback, I'm buying I don't know how many. I think I've got 60 positions at the moment. And some days I can whiz through it in 20 minutes to half an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no emotion associated with the decision for 99% of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, when you're able to like be emotionless and almost robotic, that's when you sort of know that everything's all good now. It's when you still have emotions, and that's when that you haven't mastered that side yet. Either the potentially the emotion side, or potentially that a position or a stock may be too big of the portfolio. That's why you're worrying about that position. But when it's usually quite small and diversified, it doesn't really matter at all. And it shouldn't matter. Yep. Alexander, is it okay now if we go through? I'm going to share the spreadsheet you sent over to me. So love you to walk us through it. So so I'm going to put up on screen. Yep. So everybody, Alexander was kind enough to share his results over the past yearish that he's been with us and what's been achieved. So Alexander, love you to. Can I just check in? Can everybody just see the results from Alexander, the image? Okay, Alexander, can I just check? Can you see the screen of your results as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Would love you to walk through your results because I know you've got the financial year and also the calendar year. So let's go through. Firstly, I love what you've done because you've pretty much broken it down, to using the template, broken it down to the months, and you're measuring that, which is really good to see. And you've got January, February, etc. So love you to just go through, I guess, let's go through line by line as the numbers go through.
Well, actually, it starts in 2020, which isn't on there. But I was quite hesitant at first, and I didn't do many trades until December when I had completed. What was it? It was just 3 trades, but I got 7.2% as the average. Right. So then into January, I felt more confident, and I think you had a number of recommendations, and the market was looking good. So as you can see there, I completed 20 trades in January. And if you look at it from the point of view of buy the stock, I had 20 out of 20 success rate. Right.
Alexander, I'm just trying to work out. You've got at the moment, you've got longs as 41. Let's say we go through January. You've got longs at 41. Then you had the held at 30, and then number of trades in total, 20, basically 25, and the ones that you're still holding.
Because there was a number that I bought in December.
Right.
That carried through.
Yeah. So therefore, the numbers that you're looking at now are on the held side.
But if you look on the completed trades there, you can see I had 20 completed trades.
Got it down here.
And in terms of per trade, it was 18 out of 20 successful. The 2 losses were taken up by the fact that I bought further positions in those stock. So they cancelled out the losses.
Okay. No, that's all. So from a dollar, so even though you had the losses, the dollar wise, it actually made up for the losses anyway. Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. So that's sitting at 90%. So that was Jan.
Yeah.
And
I averaged the return on investment of 5.4%. That's the trade average.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just check? Does everybody see where because as I'm chatting with Alexander, I'm also moving my mouse. Can everybody see my mouse as well? So at least you know what we're talking about. Yep. Okay. Great. You can see my mouse. That's good. So, and then now we'll move on to February.
So, yeah, I was going to say I started with just literally at that time I had only just $10,000 because I had a hard time convincing my wife to give me the money.
Yeah, that's
allow me to use.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Alexander, totally get it. This is going to be for a lot of people as well. And I always say, when you begin, you always begin small anyway.
Yes.
Not to make money, but more of a practice run to prove to yourself that the system works. And then once you know it works, then that's when you start scaling to whatever it may be that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and that's right. And when my wife saw those numbers, she says, why don't you put some more money in? So, and so February, well, each month you can see the average it's been pretty consistent.
Yes.
And in the past, I've been looking for sort of like 50%, profit in a trade or something like this, or 20%. But when it's those sort of percentages and it's month in, month out, it really then gets quite exciting.
Yes. Yes.
And my wife keeps telling me to put more money in the stock market. I said, no, I'm following the plan, following Terry's plan.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I can see, like what you said, right? Month in, month out, Jan, you average ROI of every dollar you put in, it had a 5.4% return in 35 days of holds.
Yes.
And then in Feb, roughly about, again, 90% success rate. And then yet also towards that 5% for an 18-day period, which is even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then March, dropped down a tad to 83.
Yeah.
And that was considered technically the worst return month out of all, but it still was a 2.9 average as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then April, you had also 20. This was percentage-wise. Funny enough, success was down to 75 though. But then on the average of ROI though, overall, it's still at 4.5.
Yes.
Yeah. And funny enough, this January and April seems like it's equal, literally, in terms of days held.
Yes.
Yeah, and then May, this current month, which hasn't even ended yet, and so far completed was 2, and that's obviously because when I went through those stocks, a lot of them are still not in selling zone. So once they're done, this will add to it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. So then, if I go to the financial year, then Alexander, we go to June, June 2021, which is sort of now. Then you've got 144.
Yes. So that's my total trades since I started your system.
Yeah, 116. Yeah. 116 wins, 28 losses, 81% success rate, which is tracking. So I always say, if you're above the 80 mark, you're doing very well, which is awesome. Then you've got the on the win side for the longs.
Yeah. So that's in terms of per stock rather than per trade. So some of the stock had 2 or 3 positions.
Yep, got it. Sitting at per stock 85%, and then overall 3.4, and holding something for about 26 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And as I say, that's including some early losses which I had in the first month.
Right. Okay.
Because I sold a few stock because I was scared by the change in the market. Whereas now I'm focusing on the actual the technicals for the particular stock in terms of the sell. Yeah.
And then this is a testament that one, Alexander, you're following the system, but also literally just not breaking the rules and just doing what you do. And on the other hand, it also shows it's some of you on the line might have heard about covered, buying stock and then writing covered calls as well over the stock, and that's sort of getting income. But what I see a flaw in running covered calls potentially as well is that you are limited in the premium you receive. Sometimes you might get 1 or 2% for the month, and yet when you have a bad month, that stock can drop down dramatically, and then you got to write the covered call, so to speak, to catch back up and make up for the capital gain. But why would you do that when you've got a high probability of success on capital gains, and you're getting far higher returns on doing this versus saying on something far riskier and far more limited on writing covered calls?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Alexander, want to, in your own words, right? Looking at your figures and you yourself doing this for the past 6 months consistently
Yes.
now, would love to know your thoughts about the whole thing and your experience.
I wish I'd known about it years ago.
Okay. Better late
I
than
wish
never.
I'd known about you. That's right. Yeah, I certainly I sleep well.
Yeah.
I don't have that angst. In fact, it's more of an excitement
Okay.
each day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it's sort of affected me generally because I feel less emotional about my decision making. You know, with our work, I own, well, my wife and I own the medical centre, which we've got 20 staff members. So I haven't had as much problem letting go of staff either, as well as letting go of stock.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it sort of becomes a more of a business decision.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that some of these, I guess, in a way, almost the skill of what you're doing here also translate over across the business side as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm ruthless.
Yeah.
You give people the opportunity to demonstrate and improve, but it certainly makes it clearer what needs to be done.
Yeah. Okay. So what you basically saying is that the systemization of what you see here, you're bringing it across onto the other side of what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Really? Yeah,
exactly.
That's nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for that, for this share. Did everybody find this quite useful, by the way, in terms of actually going through the real figures of what's possible? And this is not just breaking it down in terms of the overall rate that Alexander has, but month by month. It's just showing that consistency as well. So so thank you for that, Alexander. This really breaks down dramatically because people can see that very clearly.
Yeah.
Does it work? Yes, it does work.
Thanks for all your comments.
What's that?
Just thanking everybody for their comments.
Yeah.
Thanking
a lot of comments, which is really good. Okay, Alexander, I want to ask, now seeing what you see and the results you've achieved over the past 6 months running through the system now, what's next in terms of your journey? Are you going to be more on the scaling front and just doing what you're already doing and just scaling up the thing? Or, what's next?
Be using our super fund money.
Okay.
So that's what I've been using so far is just personal assets. But yes, we've had super fund money in various mutual funds and so forth. But would like to be able to replicate what I've been doing on a bigger scale.
Yeah. And does the super fund, have you already created the super fund with the accountant, or is that still?
No, yeah, I have had a super fund with the accountant. I just haven't opened a trading account under the super fund.
Okay, no worries. And are you
waiting for the 30th of June?
Okay. And are you aware that we recently did do a recording on opening up the super fund?
Yes.
Darren,
yeah, very helpful. Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's good to know. So I want to, I guess I sort of have already sort of know the answer, but I want to ask, what sort of impact and outcome that you're seeing both Blueprint as well as Inner Circle is having on, towards that financial future that you've always envisioned?
Yeah. Well, it's making my dream possible of actually, trading in the stock market and doing it all myself.
Yeah.
So that's sort of had a dream of that since 2003, really.
That's good.
Before last year, it seemed as far away as ever of achieving. But now it's within my grasp.
Yeah, nice. And I'd love to have you have a share. If there's one or two main takeaway lessons that you've gone through the process, were any particular takeaways that you'd love to share for our fellow Inner Circles that's on the line in terms of, on the investing and trading front?
Oh, well, for the newbies, I'd say do the fast track, definitely.
Right.
I mean, I had an opportunity to do it 3 months before, and it would have saved me 3 months of indecision and not really grasping the system. But working with Tricia and seeing it all, operating, and us walking us through the steps was really brilliant.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So, no, thank you for that share as well, because funny enough, when we were running fast track for a while, and then as we saw the demand drop off, so we held that back and we stopped it for a while, and then we concentrated on creating version 2.0 for Blueprint, and since then that's just been all that focus. So down the track, and thank you for letting me know, because down the track we may reintroduce fast track again, since it's been helpful as well for you. Yeah, that's good to know. And I probably know the answer, but would I, if I asked you, would you recommend people coming to Blueprint and Inner Circle? What would that be?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I haven't regretted it for a second.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Alexander, that's pretty much concludes the questions on my end, but I know you've got a number of questions on your side as well. So actually, before I get into that though, love you. Anybody got any questions for Alexander? So, and I'd love to see it on the chat, and I'm happy to ask him, and he'll obviously answer it. So, any questions? Just please type a Q for Alexander. We'll have a Q&A at the end though. Belinda's got totally agree. Endorse fast track. Thanks, Trisha.
Yeah, with a spreadsheet, it's just really a matter of typing 2021 the top left corner instead of 2020.
Yeah.
It seemed ridiculously simple when I found out.
Yep. Anybody got any questions for Alexander as we went through not only his results, but also in general? It could be anything that he's doing as well. Yeah, Alexander, would I, if I was to ask you, is there anything different that you may be doing, or are you pretty much just following Blueprint to the T in terms of what you're doing and just that consistency?
Yeah, exactly. Just following the steps of the plan.
Yeah.
It's seems to combine the best of the fundamentals with the technicals.
Okay. Look, Maureen's got a question. Do you have investments in the stocks, or do you trade only?
Well, at the moment, I've just been trading only.
Okay. And did you have
if the stock market had a massive pullback, then I might be investing then.
Yep. Okay.
But, if you've got a stock and it's risen 20% in a matter of 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, I don't think it's likely to be repeated.
Yep.
So just take the profit. That's my thinking.
Yeah, no, that's the right thinking, especially with this type of high market risk and volatility. That can happen. So long-term investing is one thing, and that's why when we do long-term, we want to make sure that we buy things undervalued, because that's that fundamental criteria that it must pass, because even if it does drop, we are happy to buy things even more undervalued. And then basically, people say always dollar cost average. No, you only dollar cost average if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, why would you dollar cost average and buy, pay over value in order to dollar cost average, so to speak?
Yeah.
Richard said, you have learned fast. Did you have good computer skill?
Yeah. Well, as a medical doctor, use computer all day long.
Right.
Plus, I like computer games and all sorts of things on the computer.
There you go. Who says gaming doesn't help? All right. There's a question about what is fast track. There's a couple of people asked, and fast track, by the way, was a thing that we ran with Trisha on more of a smaller group coaching. And Alexander was at that time. I asked a question during. This is going back maybe at least half a year ago. About a year ago, we started fast track, and we ran it for quite a number of months, where we had monthly classes, and it was only a very short 4 or 5 week class where Trisha will be on the line and on a weekly basis run through sessions on setting things up, technicals where people were stuck on the technical side. But it was more for people who had those issues. However, for people who are already running and therefore already succeeding, there was no need for that. So that was a program we ran. Then when we finally asked the question again, and we could see that there was not much interest, so we sort of stopped that for the time being. But down the track, we'll reintroduce it down the track as well. It looks like just from Alexander's, comments, it definitely did help. So we'll probably gauge the demand, and if it's in demand again, we'll definitely run it again.
Well, I think when I did it, there was about 6 or 8 people in the group. So over the 2 hours of the tutorial, I had plenty of opportunity to ask questions and get personalised answers.
Yeah.
So that was really excellent.
Yeah, nice. The name of the spreadsheet, is there any template on this report? Ellen, the spreadsheet is in fact the trading diary, the updated trading diary. So that should be inside Blueprint itself, but version 2.0 will actually have that as well. So that is definitely coming. So any other final questions for Alexander? If not, then Alexander's got a few questions, and I'm going to see if I can help him on that as well. So if there's anything, please have that come through. James got there. That would be awesome if it was run again. Thanks, James. Okay, Alexander, I'm going to just quickly pull up the questions you sent me.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Thank you for that.
No, there's no COVID in Coffs Harbour. There hasn't been the whole year either.
Yeah, no, I was down in Coffs during Christmas. I drove up to Byron Bay, and Coffs. I spent a few days in Coffs, and it was sort of to get away from all the COVID in Sydney. That's the reason why we were up north, literally. And by the way, if anybody's interested, because Alexander's mentioned about Fast Track, if anybody's interested, would love you to, I know it's on the chat, but would love you to just send us an email to support@thefreedomtrader.com and just type in the word Fast Track. That way, as a in the title or subject line, and that way I know that you're interested. And down the track, when we do consider if there's enough numbers, we'll run another one just for a small group, basically.
Yeah, it was about 6 months from when I signed up with Freedom Trader, when I started, placed my first order. So I was fiddling around. I was spending weekends going through the modules, and when I could. And then when the Fast Track opportunity came, the second or the third time, I can't remember, I thought, okay, I've got to do this because otherwise this will go on for months.
Yeah.
Don't regret it because, as I say, within the 4 weeks, I was up and running and trading within 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, that was I think answering Hans's question. So Hans is actually quite new into the program. Yeah. So can I just check in? Did everybody find today's session or hot seat with Alexander help as well? Awesome. Yeah, all good. All comments coming through. Thanks, Alexander, for the days.